And we are back with another episode of the Investor Guys podcast. My friend Bill, how are you doing?
I am doing excellent, Kevin Mills. Good to see you as always, brother. Welcome everybody to the Investor Guys podcast, episode 85. Kev, out of the blue, it hit me. Holy cow, we've been doing this over a year now.
We have been doing this over a year. Yeah, happy anniversary. Actually, happy late anniversary, because I think we're at the end of April already. And we started this in March of 2020. So for those of you who have stuck with us for this entire year, thank you. Yep. Bill, honestly, it's been kind of awesome being able to talk to you most times, 2 times a week. We talked about this just before the show. There were a couple times that we didn't do the show because we had some issues here or there with something. For example, Bill had a dental issue for a while. But we still talk to each other to coordinate these things and everything else. And that has been cool, because before all this, it'd be a year or so before we'd bump into each other somewhere or anything else. Yep. So this has been great, being able to talk to each other every day and not just to email or Facebook or here and there. So, thank you for that, because this has been great. My daughter knows that this is what I do on these days. She's are you going to do your show with Uncle Bill? You going to do your show with Uncle Bill? So she knows I'm here. She's actually outside playing right now. But yeah, it's been a great year. We've gone through a lot in this last year. Not you and I, are between ourselves, but just, as a nation and as a world. Coronavirus, just a new regime change, new administration, just so many things have changed in this last year. It is amazing. This has just been a crazy, crazy year. And I want to point out also that we're hearing last week and this week, and we knew it was coming. In fact, we talked about this as early back as January. New taxes. It's going to be new taxes on corporations. It's going to be new taxes on individuals. It's going to be new capital gains taxes. It's going to be inheritance taxes. It's going to be everything else on top of our already growing cost of everything, our consumer goods, everything, because of the cost of fuel, because this is not a fossil fuel friendly administration that we have. My wife, literally, we came back from vacation, and my wife said the cost of milk has gone up $1 in a week. And it literally has. And that's because fuel has gone up. My brother posted, my brother filled his truck up. It's a 30-gallon tank. And he posted what he was paying for his $98, because he's paying almost $3 a gallon for his gas. That's insane.
The gas is just getting started. They're going to make it where it's just about impossible to drive a gasoline car unless, look, we get out and vote 2022, take the House back, take the Senate back, and undo all this stupid insanity and vote it down and put it into law and undo these executive orders that the dictator is doing. I'm getting real strong here, because if you go back to the debate, and then we'll get on real estate, you go back to the debate, Biden was very strong to point out that Trump had written he had written 6 at the time of the debate, executive orders, and that's how dictators operate and run government. Well, Biden in his first 100 days has written over 60, the most by far of any president in there. Obama didn't write that many in 8 years. He's done it in 100 days. It's a dictatorship regime. Get your butt out and vote. Get these quack, sorry-ass human beings out of D.C. And get back to being America. So
what I wanted to point out was that, we didn't predict this. We knew it was coming, as did everybody else. But we talked about this in earlier shows, how this is going to affect us as Americans and how this is going to affect us as real estate investors. So if you didn't catch those shows, go to investorguyspodcast.com. Investorguyspodcast.com. All the shows are there. We release them on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay. After that, or right about that time, you'll be able to find them at investorguyspodcast.com. So go back and look at some of these past episodes from as early back as January, where Bill and I were talking about how these changes are going to affect us and the things that we need to do as real estate investors to change that up so that it's not affecting us. Now, what I wanted to do, because I was on vacation last week, for those of you who weren't with us last week, And while I was on vacation, my brain unfortunately didn't take a break, and it just kept going over and over and over. And I looked at properties, and I spent Sunday going over numbers and actually talking with some people who we went on vacation with, who are also investors and coming up investors. And I ran some numbers, and this is the culmination of numbers. I'm not going to actually go through the specific properties and the specifics of the numbers, but I'm going to go over the percentage rates. These are real percentage rates of properties that I ran this morning and that I ran yesterday. And we're coming up on a break. We're a little bit early, but since I don't want to have to get interrupted on these numbers, because these numbers, you're going to want to sit down and pay attention to these numbers. These are mind-blowing numbers. And by all means, write them down and get your calculator out and double check it, verify, and make sure that I'm telling you the truth. I am telling you the truth, but make sure for yourself.
Scoot the player back and listen to them again and again and again, because when you hear, and forgive me for preaching there a little bit, I got fired up, but when you hear the numbers that we do and you hear them over and over and over, and you're not investing in real estate, I got to worry about you. Maybe you're in the early onset of dementia and Alzheimer's, or you're just asleep and we happen to be on. Because if you hear these numbers and you're not getting involved in real estate, and look, this is the time. You forget what happened yesterday, 10 years ago, 50 years ago. I heard a guy say the other day, oh, I wish I'd gotten involved, after in 2012 when we came out of this thing. It was like, who cares? If you're conscious, get involved now.
Exactly.
Because the numbers that you're going to hear after the break will blow your mind. And there's just, again, these are real numbers on real properties. These are properties. Today we'll be talking about, specifically, these are Kevin's properties, but these are real properties. These are not made up numbers or anything. These are real portfolio numbers. And you have to pay attention to these because they are incredible.
And you know what, Bill? This is going to have the same effect on you that it had on me when I was doing these numbers. You're going to say, man, you know what? I need to step up my game. I need to focus on just this strategy because this is going to be not only life changing. This is drop a nuclear bomb on your life, totally change it numbers. Okay.
Yep.
We're going to get to that in just a second. We'll take a break and I'll see you on the other side.
We'll be right back.
11 months out of the year, Bill and I host real estate buyers events in cities like Cleveland, Ohio, where we ourselves invest and see great returns. We show investors the types of strategies we're using, the types of properties we're using. We introduce them to people here on the ground and the resources that they can use to get started right away. Day 4 of this event, we're actually touring properties and making offers on properties. This event was designed to put properties in your portfolio right away, high-performing properties. Read more about the Real Estate Buyers event. Get registered. We'll see you at the next event, realestatebuyersevent.com. A lot of real estate training programs claim that they will make you a millionaire, but how many of them will guarantee it? The Millionaire Blueprint comes with a millionaire guarantee. I guarantee that if you use the strategies and you use the formulas that you learn in the Millionaire Blueprint, you will be a millionaire. I guarantee that with a double your money back guarantee. Whether you have hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest or absolutely nothing, it doesn't matter. I'm going to show you how to start investing and be a millionaire guaranteed. Now, I can't tell you all about it in this short amount of time, so go to the guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. That's the guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. Watch the videos there. Read about the guarantee. Read more about what we offer with the Millionaire Blueprint. Get signed up. I'll see you in Palm Beach. All right. We are back, and I was telling you guys that I was going to share some numbers. Now, first off, I want to start off, okay, with giving you like some. I don't have a graphic to show on this one, but I want you guys to get your pencil and paper out, and Bill can follow along with me on this, and he can tell you that these are crazy, weird numbers. These are numbers that we wouldn't even look at. These are low end numbers, but I want to give you an example of how our percentage of return works, okay, and how it grows over time. So let's start with $100,000 because it's a nice even number. Now, if we're purchasing properties to flip, rehab flips that have an ARV of 200,000, in most markets we should be able to find those properties that have an ARV of 200,000. We're going to look for properties that are typically around $140,000. That means we're going to put $38,000 down on these properties in order to acquire them. Now, if we're starting with $100,000, we can actually do 2.24. So 2.25 of those properties at any given time. Now, this is by the math. This isn't by the actual, we can't do a quarter of a property. By the actual math, we can do 2.24 properties at any given time. Now, we can do a property every 3 months. Is that realistic, Bill? You do this more than I do. Okay.
Yeah,
every 3 months, we could acquire a property
months,
and flip it. Yeah, 3 or 4 months. So using the 3-month benchmark, all right, we can do 10.25 properties in a year. Now, I used very, very, very skinny numbers on this, okay? I assumed a $20,000 rehab budget on this property. $20,000 on a $200,000 house is 10% of the value of the house. Chances are you're not going to be spending 20 grand on a house that's going to ARV for 200,000. Counting our commissions, counting our closing costs, counting everything, even cost of money, okay, at 12%. We're making at the end, after we pay ourselves back that $38,000, we're making $12,000 and change on each one of these properties. You take that times 10.25 properties, which is what you can do in a year on that $100,000, one doing 2 properties or whatever it is every 3 months. You're looking at 133% return on your investment. You made $133,000 cash after you paid yourself back that $100,000. Okay. So $133,000 every single year. Okay. May not sound like a lot, but when you consider it's 133% return on your money, you know, there's not a whole lot of places that you're going to be able to get that. Now, that's an active investing strategy. Time out. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I just want to throw in, when you said it may not sound like very much, I challenge you, not you, Kevin, but your listeners and our viewers out there, I challenge you, where can you go and consistently produce 100% return in the course of a year? So Kevin says 133%, that's not very much. That's a gigantic return, because once you're outside the game, that's what we call real estate for us. It's the game. Once you're outside the game, you got to be in weird stuff, and you know, Bitcoin's going like crazy and stuff, and it's wild and woolly. It's the Wild West, and you might have some years that you can make those kind of numbers and better even, but you can't go anywhere and make these kind of numbers and make them safely. And so,
don't misunderstand. I'm not saying 133%. 130% is a good, solid return. That's great. You know, I don't look at anything under 50%. Okay, 50% I'm happy with. 133% is a lot. What I'm saying is $133,000 may not be a lot, but if you're growing that, you know, and you're doubling that, say, next year, because you're taking that $100,000 and putting it back into the same strategy, that's where we get growth, and that's where these numbers start to make sense when I start showing you this. Okay, so keep that 133% in the back of your head. Okay, now I did numbers, and I'm going to pull up the screen here. I did numbers on a property that I was making 78.28%. Like I said, I do 50% minimum. Let me show you the 50% minimum first, what that looks like. Okay, so this is what 50% on $100,000 looks like. Okay, in 10 years. Look at that orange box at the bottom where it says total interest. If you take $100,000 with a 50% return on your investment and you reinvest it every single year into the same strategy, just earning 50%. Bill, I saw you put your glasses on. Do you see that? That is $5,666,503.91. That doesn't count your $100,000 principal, which is in that blue box. Okay. That is what you've made in cash. Okay. In 10 years. Also, Bill, this is what you've made plus in equity in the property, because this is what you've paid into equity in the property. Okay. Take this number times 5 or 6, and that is what we have for the retail value of our portfolio. Okay. Those are some crippling, knock your knees out numbers. This is $100,000 at 50%. Okay.
Yep.
Now,
and
go ahead.
Think about it. Everybody that's out there, think about, hey, you know what? I don't have 100,000, and you may not have 100,000 in cash laying around, but you also might have it in a retirement account that works great for these kind of numbers. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, what I was going to say was I did the same numbers because I'm doing a property right now that has a 78.28. This is a conservative numbers. I will probably get higher, but conservatively, I'm making 78.28% on this particular property. This is what this looks like. It's 78.28%. If I continue to put it back in on $100,000 for 10 years, that's $32,335,922.50. I'm waiting for those glasses to fall off of Bill's face.
They're super glued on, brother.
Yeah. So that is 10 years on $100,000. That's $32 million. I'm sorry, but you know what? You're probably not going to get that from Bitcoin over the course of 10 years.
You're right. You know, it's like, where are you going to get it?
Yeah, it's gonna go up, it's gonna go down, it's gonna go up, it's gonna go down. But you know what? This is consistent. This is 78.28%. And yes, oh my gosh, 78.28, that's a lot. This is return on investment. This is on leverage. This is on the down payment that I'm putting on this property. This is my return. Okay. So I challenge anyone to find those types of numbers someplace else. Now, 78.28, you're like, oh my gosh, you can't get that. You can't get that. Yes, you can. You absolutely can. Remember, I just told you Bill can do, anybody can do. Okay. Bill does better than 133%. I'm using really skinny numbers to show that you can get 133%. Okay. On doing just flips. All right. Every single year. Now, that was just 78.28%. Now I've got 2 more that you guys are just, this is going to change your mind. This is where you need to get to work. Okay.
And hey, Kev, before we get into the next one, it is break time.
All right.
So let's take a quick break and we'll come back with 2 more properties. And again, we want you to go back and replay this and look at those numbers and take your pen, your calculator, and you write them out and figure them out yourself. You go in and look at them. You'll see the numbers are real. This is not fantasy land. This is what real estate does when you understand the game. And that's why we're here, to get you to be able to understand the game. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Right back. My name's Kevin Mills. I have a real estate training program that is so powerful, I will back it up with a double your money back guarantee that it will make you a millionaire. That's right. Double your money back guarantee that you will be a millionaire if you use what you learn in the Millionaire Blueprint. I call it the Guaranteed Millionaire Blueprint, and you can read more about it and watch more videos at guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. That's guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. Check it out. All the information is there. Once a month, with the exception of December, Bill and I go to markets where we have experience and we host a real estate buyers event. These are markets that have great return potential for your real estate portfolio. We're going to show you the properties that we buy. We're going to show you where to buy, where not to buy, the strategies to use to make great income from these properties. We're also going to show you resources and individuals here on the ground that you can use to start building your team so that you can repeat this process over and over. The real estate buyers events are designed to put high-performing properties in your portfolio right away. If you're interested in hearing more about the Real Estate Buyers Event, realestatebuyersevent.com. That's realestatebuyersevent.com. Read more about the events, check out the schedule, and register. We'll see you there. We are back, and lots of great things to talk about in this show. We're numbers for these last two segments. Now, Bill wanted to bring something up, just a little bit of homework for you guys to go back and take a look at. He was remembering two shows that we did early on. And I'm gonna let you talk about the shows real quick, but it was a $100K to $1 million at 50%. And we also did a 30,000% ROI using other people's money. And real quick, tell them about those shows, and then I'm going to blow their minds even more with these next two graphics.
So just go back to the beginning. Just jump over to investorguyspodcast.com. Investor, singular, guys, plural, investorguyspodcast.com. And just scroll down to the bottom, go through those 80 plus episodes, scroll down toward the bottom. You're going to see a $50,000 presentation early on. You got to go watch that if you like the numbers and you're trying
I believe it's titled 50K to Millionaire.
Yep. And then there's another one where we take the concepts and then we move them over into using OPM with it. And it gets uncalculatable, but we show a 30,000% return, which is pretty fun. But if you're using OPM, it just takes these numbers and just they explode. So go back and take a look at those. Now let's get into these last two, because these are
so these last two numbers, these are based on another property that I was looking at, where I am going to be getting literally, and this is based upon actual numbers, conservative actual numbers. This is if I don't break out of the mold and don't do anything crazy and don't increase the value or anything else. Okay. 140%. Okay. So 140% return on investment. If I'm doing this now, literally, this is a $50,000 investment I need to make on the down payment for this property. So if I do two properties like this, and I can, because I can buy the same type of property. There's not a lot of them in the area, but it's not like it's competitive. This is literally going to be the fair market value purchase of this property. I'm not going to talk them down anything else. The strategy that I'm going to use is going to return this kind of money in 5 years at 140% on $100,000. That's $7,882,624. Now, that seems like a lot, but wait until you see what that looks like in 10 years. Hold on to your glasses there, Bill.
They're close by.
All right.
Having a little contact issue this morning, so I'm having to wear.
That's okay. Read that number in orange right there. That is 10 years on 100,000 at 140%.
633 million. That's spelled with an M. $633,933,000, $809.65. So $500 million.
Yeah, and I apologize for that. That is on $100,000 investment that we continue to put that 140% back into the same strategy. Okay. Now remember, and this is why we started the show off. Remember, we talked conservative numbers, crazy conservative numbers at the very beginning of the show, being 133%. 133% is not that far off from 140%. Okay. Yeah. And that was an active investing strategy. This is a passive investing strategy. But you know what? Money is money and numbers are numbers. Okay. So no matter how you get there, this is what you can expect if you just want to put in the time. Who doesn't have, I mean, I guess everybody doesn't, but Bill and I are probably older than a lot of the people who are watching this show. Bill and I have another 10 years to do this. Okay. And if we can do this with 100,000, shouldn't we do everything we can to find another $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 to do this with? Just multiply that exponentially. Okay. You could literally be at $1 billion in 10 years if you're investing $200,000. You could be at 2 billion plus in 10 years if you were investing $400,000. Who couldn't come up with $400,000 using OPM? You know, this is the kind of money that not only changes your life, it changes the lives of the people around you. And this is what I want people to pay attention to. This is why we invest in real estate. Now, can you do this and grow this money while you're still living on real estate? Absolutely. Take another $50,000 or another $100,000 and just live on it, doing your real estate strategies and mirror it with this. This, again, this is what is going to make me change the way I am doing my real estate deals. I still do this type of thing, but I'm actually going to focus specifically on just these types of things. And again, you can find these types of returns out there every day. Uh, I know that when you go to a real estate course and when you go to real estate investor meetings, they tell you, oh, no, you're going to be lucky if you get 10%. You're going to be lucky if you get 30%. You're going to be lucky if you get 20%. You're going to be lucky if you do this. It's going to be hard. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. It absolutely is not. Okay. Once you understand the numbers, once you understand how the numbers work, once you understand strategies, and you know what? It's more than just strategies. I was discussing this week as well. It is not just a matter of understanding how a buy and hold strategy works. It is not just understanding how a cash flow strategy works. It's understanding all the different other strategies that you can plug into that buy and hold strategy. So a cash flow strategy, okay? Most people think, oh, I'm just going to buy an apartment building, or I'm going to buy a duplex, or I'm going to buy a single family, and I'm going to put renters in it, and that's my cash flow strategy. That's not the only cash flow strategy. There's retail, there's office, there's vacation, there's 20 or 30 different cash flow strategies that could bring you more money than just putting, a family of 4 into your rental property. You need to understand what the highest and best use and best return is going to be for not just the property that you're looking at, but is it better for me to put that same money into a different property or a different strategy or a different area to get a better return? And oftentimes that will be the option that you need to be looking at. I don't necessarily need to buy the property that's right around the corner from me because it's easy and because it's handy. Maybe I should be looking at the property that's in the next state over because it's going to give me a higher return on my investment. So those are all things you need to consider. Those are all things you need to know. And that's the difference between what Bill and I teach versus what you're going to see from other people. They want you to think it's difficult because they want you to think that they have the toolbox and the toolkit to give to you that's going to make it easy. It's just not that. It is not hard. You just need to understand what you need to look at and how to look at it. And it is really easy. I'm purchasing properties, and I know Bill has also. I'm purchasing properties at asking price, and I'm still making 140% return on my investment. I'm still making 78.28% return on my investment. I'm still making 50% and greater returns on my investment purchasing properties at asking price. I'm not having to talk anybody down on the price. I'm not having to look for a property that might be distressed, might be selling for less than it's worth.
Yeah, and right now, when you live in the markets that we live in, which are the 2 hottest markets in the country, the pricing is different. Now, there are a lot of markets that are higher priced than we are, but we have such a hot market. There's little to no negotiation on most of the properties that are out there because there's just no inventory. These things get gobbled up in a hurry. And so when you understand the numbers, you go back and you go, if I pay full price for this, how does that affect my return? And when you come back and you go, wow, I can do this and still make 100+% on my money. And we want to teach you guys to not accept anything less than 50. Yeah, because you just don't have to. And then once you understand that and you start seeing that play out in your business personally, it changes the game for you, because then you're coming back to us going, now, what tweaks do I need to make to go to 100? Because going from 50 to 75 or 50 to 80, 75, 80 to 100 is not big, gigantic steps. It's a big, gigantic return step, but in being able to achieve those additional returns, it's just not complicated once you start understanding the system and how to play the game.
If you have $6,900,000 and almost $7 million, okay, in your portfolio, all right, in equity, and the same amount of money coming in cash, how easy is it for you to go ahead and start selling off some properties and get into triple net strategies, to get into large land leases where you're going to make an even greater percentage of a return on your investment? It's not at all. And those are the things you need to think about too. You don't want to just be collecting a bunch of single doors. How many doors, if you're just buying single doors, is $7 million going to give you? It's going to be, it's not going to be manageable. I'm using these numbers to express why you need to get started. understanding how to adjust your strategies and change your strategies as your abilities change is important. And also something you hear us talk about 50%, 50%, 50%. Remember that neither Bill nor I are going to take 50% on an active investing strategy. That is a passive investing strategy. And understanding the difference between that is also key. I don't want a 50% return on investment on an active investment strategy. It's not worth my time. It's not worth Bill's time. Okay. On a passive investing strategy where I have to do nothing, that's 50% return on my investment day in and day out. Great, no problem. So it's understanding all of that, understanding those little idiosyncrasies and the things that are going to maximize your time, maximize your effort, maximize your investment. That's what's important. Now, we do have buyers events coming up. And we have these types of properties available when we do these buyers events. You can find the buyers events at investorguyspodcast.com. As Bill said earlier, investorguyspodcast.com. You can also reach out to both Bill and I at investorguyspodcast.com. You can do contact at investorguyspodcast.com or Bill or Kevin at investorguyspodcast.com. And you know what? Just visit the website and you can actually just click on the contact us tab right there. And you can catch all of our old shows. If you haven't watched all the shows, like our website, but if you see us on Facebook or anywhere else, like us there too. We will see you guys back here on Thursday. Until
Thank you, everybody.
Happy investing, get started. No reason not to start today. All right, we'll see you guys.
We want you to become ROI snobs like Kevin and I are. That is one of the most fun things on the planet, becoming an ROI snob.
Yes. Be able to pick and choose. Don't work hard, work smart. All right, we'll see you guys all very soon. Have a great day.
Yeah.